And we are live. Yes, Ring Kings podcast is back. It didn't even take you guys that long this time, okay? It didn't take us. It didn't take us 2 months. It didn't take us 1 month. It took us about a week, maybe 2 weeks, But we're here, okay? We told you we'd be back soon. We were back fairly soon, all right? That's because there was a big fight last night, all right? Saul Canelo Alvarez was victorious against Jaime Munguia, okay? It was a pretty good fight, in my opinion. Went the distance. I didn't think it was going to go the distance at one point. I thought Canelo was going to get him up out of there. But Jaime battled back. I mean, he wasn't really in the fight, but I thought he fought well, all things considered. And entertaining fight overall. All right. So we're going to discuss our opinions of the card, of the fight, and what's next for Canelo, and maybe some other boxing news as well. But gentlemen, what is going on?
What up, man? Which one of y'all getting up at 4 to watch this fight?
I mean, it seems
In
to
a
be
way.
it seems to be our core audience. We might have to do it.
Yeah, you know, whenever we say the name in a way, it's popping.
You mean now, in a way?
Yeah.
Monster?
Yeah.
Look, I'm gonna watch it. Like he's must see TV every time he fights. It sucks that it's 4 a.m. But
I'll tell you what. I'm not making promises for anybody else on this panel. But if I get up early enough to watch it, I'll live stream afterwards.
Okay. Well, saying the fact that I had to be to work at 6:30, it's gonna be tough.
The fight starts at 4, right?
no, the card starts.
The card, yeah, see that. So he might not come on until 6:30.
And I've been getting to work for 6:30 as well, but I might go in late tomorrow. I might.
Well, remember last time it was what? It was like 8 something, wasn't it?
Might have been.
By the time he came on, it was around 8.
Jeez.
I think.
All right.
Don't quote me on that, but
we'll see. We'll see. If I'm up, I might give y'all a quick live stream. But yes. What were your guys' thoughts on the fight last night?
And I thought that Munguia came to win. He just was outclassed. I was a little surprised that Canelo put him down. You know, he's kind of known for having the kind of chin that Canelo has as well. But I mean, the uppercut came out of nowhere and he dropped him. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was an entertaining fight.
Yeah, I agree. It was a good fight. I just think Canelo, man. I'll say this: that was probably the best Canelo looked in a while. In my opinion, I think he, you know, it was a schooling of sorts. You know what I mean? I think once he settled in, you know, he was in there with a young, strong game fighter. I just think he outsmarted him a bit while he was in there. But Munguia, you know, first I give him the 2 or 3 the first 3 rounds. You know, at least 2. You know, big guy, didn't realize he was that big. A strong kid, and like B said, you know, he had never been put down before. So it was a little surprising to see him hit the canvas, and I think that's what swung the fight for him. You know, it's just tough when your first time, you know, getting put down, man. You know what that does to these fighters mentally is it can swing the whole momentum of a fight, and I think that's what we ended up seeing.
Yeah, I'm with you, Mikey. Like the first 2 or 3 rounds, I gave to Munguia actually easily because he established his jab, and Canelo was just eating him up, and I was like, this is Bivol all over again. He's you know, like Bivol threw that jab in Canelo's face, and Canelo didn't get out the way, and he just got pummeled. And it was looking like that at first. I was like, oh, geez, he was getting hit with the right in there, rocked his head back. I was like, ugh. I said, Oscar grinning ear to ear right now, man. I hope this changes. And then he slipped in that uppercut, and that changed things. Now, to Jaime's credit, man, it didn't really seem to affect him the rest of the fight. I mean, he got rocked a few times. There's a couple hits where I'm like, if that's anybody else, he's going straight to the mat, and he just ate it. So he definitely has a rock solid chin,
Mhm.
but just he was just outclassed. That's what it came down to. He was outclassed.
Yeah, he didn't like them body shots either, though. He doesn't have a
Yes.
rock
Yeah.
solid body, but yeah, I mean, I think Terrence Crawford was out there saying that Canelo carried him to the end of the fight, and I don't necessarily think that's true. I mean, he if he really pushed, he probably could have got him out of there if he really went after his body and kind of focused on that. He may have been able to get him out, but I don't think he carried him. He's just like you said, he's a big, strong guy who throws a ton of punches. And Canelo was like, I'm winning these rounds easily. So, it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. Look, Munguia is known to be more of a brawler. He's not known for his boxing. Um, so it just wasn't. We thought it would end up being more of a brawl, and that may have favored him, just because he's young and strong. But Canelo kind of boxed him and made it a little bit of a chess match. He set him up, as we saw with the uppercut. And I think that made Munguia a little gun shy. And when he touched that body, that even made him a little more gun shy too. But I mean, to your point, Jose, um, he didn't back down, man. He he was just in there with he's in there with a legend, right? And
Yeah.
somebody that he looks up to, and he just got outclassed. I hear people already saying this, but I think even Oscar mentioned it. But it was reminiscent to Floyd and Canelo. So hopefully this type of experience from Munguia will push him forward and help him. I think this shouldn't be one of those L's that derails his career. This should be one of those things that, hey, I went in there. He should have learned a lot from being in there with Canelo, and he should going forward be an even tougher fighter.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, I give him more credit in that loss than I give Jermell Charlo.
Yes, yes, yes. Like at least he was fighting. Like Jamel wasn't throwing his hands or anything. So it's like,
Because even when he got rocked, he got right back up and forced the issue. You know what I'm saying? Like he pressed forward, he's throwing his jab, he's coming forward. Like he didn't get discouraged. Where Jamel, I mean, he mailed it in. He mailed it
Well,
in.
I think that Jamel was like, he doesn't have that rock solid chin to kind of fall back on. He's like, I'm not getting knocked out tonight.
Yeah. No, I understand. It's just disappointing,
Yeah.
it's just disappointing. But no.
it has to be demoralizing. I'm thinking this, watching the fight,
Mm,
and we've noticed this in Canelo before, but it has to be demoralizing for a fighter when you look across the ring and like you're sitting on a stool, you're breathing hard as can be, and this dude's not sitting down. You know what I mean? It's
He's like,
like,
yeah, it's nothing.
yeah, and
Yep.
like I know there's different reasons, and he's one of the few that I've seen that stands up in the corner. He may be the only one that I can think of now. I think I've seen another guy do it, but like to see that, even though he has a reason for doing it, it just has to be one of those things that as the fight goes on, it has to be demoralizing that this dude is not even taking a seat. He's not sitting on a stool. He's standing the whole fight. He ain't going nowhere. So I'm sure that has to take a toll on you.
yeah, I mean, he didn't like I said, he didn't come off discouraged. Like he brought it the whole fight. Like he had a game plan. He was going to try to execute that game plan. It just didn't work in his favor. He obviously looked disappointed at the end of the fight, but no, that is one of those things where you can learn from. And I have a little bit more respect for Jaime Munguia after this because, I mean, like B said, man, at one point he was the most protected fighter in boxing. Like I don't like to call people ducks, but like he ducked everybody for no reason. It seemed like he just wouldn't fight anybody, and we're like, man, like what is he afraid of? But it might have been one of those things where he just wasn't ready, and his team protected him, until he got to a certain point. Sometimes you need that from boxers. Like we want boxers to fight when we want them to fight, right? But if they're not ready, they're not ready. I say this about Berlanga all the time. Berlanga's not ready.
No.
People want to force Berlanga in there. If that were Berlanga last night, he would have gotten slaughtered.
Well, I mean, stay tuned. Because that's what's going to be happening in September, probably.
Well, that's what they're talking about, and I hate that for Berlanga. And I understand he wants a payday, right? he will get paid off of that fight. So I understand wanting to force the issue, but in terms of his career, he's not ready for that. He might, yes, he's like in his late 20s, right? But he might need a couple more years. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. He may not ever have it, but I know right now there's a lot that he needs to refine in his skills. Like Munguia's ahead of him.
Well, the thing is though, and because Canelo wasn't ready to fight Floyd either, right? Yes. He was what 21, 22 or whatever he was. Even though he had a lot of fights, he wasn't ready for a guy like Floyd. But those cash cows aren't around for when you're ready. So you got to take the fight when you can take the fight. Berlanga going to go in there. Berlanga will get knocked out, and it'll be whatever. He'll be fine moving forward. Because I don't think he's going to be a great fighter anyway. But I mean, even if he, regardless of what happens, people will be like, "Oh, it was Canelo. You weren't ready. You got beat. Whatever."
Yeah. No. Yeah. That's what it is. I like Berlanga. That's why I don't want to see him go out there and get crushed. But at some point, you do have to go and take those fights. But watching his last fight,
I think he deserves it. You deserve to get knocked out one time for biting somebody in the ring. Right? I don't have anything personally against Berlanga either, but karma and whatnot. Like, you probably gotta take that one.
Yeah. So yeah, he didn't say it in the ring. What's going on, Hendo? Salute to you. Thanks for coming through. Also, Jared in the house. What's going on, Jared? And Bazel. Salute to all y'all. Bazel in the house. Yes. Oh, look who else is in here. Clot is in the building. What's going on, bro? Thanks for coming through. Yeah. So I mean, he didn't say who he's gonna fight next. He did this whole I'm Mexican. I can fight who I want to fight. Right? Like, all right, Canelo. I know you can fight whoever you want to fight, bro. Like we get it.
Well, it was funny because he started off by saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna take a rest," and then people started booing, and then he was like, "Hey, you get that money right? I'll fight Benavidez right now."
Right. I did laugh when what's his name asked him, to translate, right? Because he's speaking in English, and his English is great now, right? And he's like, okay, say it in Spanish, and he said the same thing in Spanish, and then Jim Gray asked the interpreter, like, hey, interpret what he said. Canelo's like, I just repeated the same thing, like you asked me to,
right? I just said the same thing. That's it. Like,
yeah, Clyde, the fight wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It was a solid fight. I gave Jaime Munguia more respect after that fight. I thought he was going to fold, to be honest. But
yeah,
that just comes from.
I especially thought he was going to fold the way he collapsed after that uppercut.
Yeah,
he went down hard.
It takes a lot to get up from those punches, man. Especially the ones you don't see. It takes a lot,
Mm-hmm.
So, but he did, and he got up and came straight forward. Like he didn't dance around like, oh, I got to recover. He's like, nope, let's get back on this.
Let's see if you can do it again.
Yeah. I give him my respect for that. So right now, because the fight I want to see Munguia and Berlanga. I thought at one point Berlanga would smoke Munguia, but I'm wrong about that. Okay, he can't see Munguia right now. He ain't ready for that. But he ain't got to worry about Munguia. He got to worry about Canelo next. What it looks like, Eddie Hearn is trying to push that anyway, and that was a fight that they were trying to make happen before this one. From if I heard right from the rumors. So
and I think Berlanga is one of his mandatories now, right?
I think he was. I think so. But they're saying it's likely going to be him or Jamal Charlo next.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Ariel Helwani was kind of floating out there the idea, of Crawford and Canelo on next year's Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, they won't. They won't let that. They won't. They won't let that one die. So
I think Crawford wants it too. I mean, he's always quick to comment on Canelo's fights.
yeah,
Making sure he keeps his name connected.
That is the fight that he wants, right? That's the whole reason why he's been kind of sidestepping all these other fights that they've been putting in front of him because he wants that big money fight. He wants to cash out too, but I don't know if he's going to get it. To be honest, like I don't know if he Crawford, great, obviously, but he's not a big draw, right? So what's the split going to look like? What kind of money are both going to try to get out of that? I just don't think Canelo's going to look at that and be like, yeah, I can get what I want. I mean, he's asking for like 200 million for the Benavidez fight.
Well, I
you
think
know,
that he won't. I don't think he'll ask for quite the same for a Crawford fight, right? Because Crawford, he hasn't been a big draw for his career, but he got a boost with that Errol Spence win, obviously.
absolutely.
And I think that is a much bigger fight, much bigger fight than David Benavidez, right? The problem with Benavidez, and it's not that Canelo's scared of David Benavidez. It's risk versus reward, right? Like, nobody outside of hardcore boxing fans are really going to care that you fought David Benavidez, and David Benavidez is a very good fighter. So if you're not getting the commensurate reward with it, why take the risk? But with Crawford, I think you will get that. You know,
Yeah, I don't think so, man. I don't think Benavidez. I don't think Crawford is a bigger draw than Benavidez. I mean, this is an opinion because Benavidez hasn't. I don't think he's fought on pay-per-view, has he?
no,
Yeah. So I
I don't
mean,
know. I don't think.
I'm
So.
sure.
That's a good question. That's a
yeah.
good
So I
question.
mean, I can't. I can't really compare it to anything. I think the Andre fight might have been might have been pay-per-view. I can't remember. I don't think it did anything great, but Crawford hasn't done anything great either outside of the Errol Spence fight, right? So I think I don't think Crawford is bigger. They might be around the same, but I don't think
I
he's
don't.
a bigger draw.
I
A
think I
draw.
think he is, and I think the reason will be, a lot of people saw that Crawford and Spence fight,
Yeah,
right? Even if it wasn't because of Crawford, but they
yeah.
saw the performance of Terrence Crawford, and you'll be able to sell Canelo as the face of boxing versus this guy that put on this unbelievable performance in the biggest fight of his career that everybody saw.
That's a
Uh,
good point. That's a good
nobody
point.
nobody knows Benavidez really.
Cloud, this will
I
never
mean, not
happen.
not nobody, but
Cloud, this will never happen. It will never be 50-50 split.
Yeah, I think in order for us to see this, the Saudis got to get behind this.
Yeah.
They I think they are the ones that could possibly make the fight happen because both fighters they're going to want a ton of money,
Yeah.
right?
yeah.
And so and I think I think that's why Terrence his next fight is backed by the Saudis, and I think that's why he's kind of aligning himself with them. Maybe that's his best chance of seeing the Canelo because they got the money to make it happen.
Well,
But
So I just sorry to interrupt that, Jose, but I just looked it up, and again, this is why Canelo doesn't want the Benavidez fight.
hmm.
The reports are that Benavidez versus Andrade did 60K.
Yeah, but that's about what Bud Crawford did against Avanesian, right?
But I mean, then he fought Errol Spence.
Yeah.
BLK Prime,
And
baby.
listen, 60K on BOK Prime. That's like 200. That's 200% of their user base. Uh, but
Oh man,
he
I didn't. I
doesn't.
even
But
upload
he
the
doesn't
clip. My
have.
bad, but I forgot I forgot to put that
But the
over.
thing is, Benavidez doesn't have a fight like that where you could say, "Hey, no, I'm a bigger name now, bigger draw now because of that."
Yeah.
Crawford does.
I,
So yeah,
I think with the Benavides thing, obviously, look, the cultures, man, like, the Puerto Rican background and stuff like that, they can always sell the Puerto Rican versus the Mexicans and that type situation. So I think he'll bring that with him. I do agree with you, though, B. I think that Spence fight helped Crawford tremendously. We haven't seen him post that fight, obviously, and what kind of draw he'll be um, going forward. But I do think he was introduced to more casual fan base going after that Spence fight. But I don't know. I do think that they could sell the fight, but I don't know. I don't know. I mean, as a fan, I wouldn't. Sure, I'd watch it. I'm not sure if I'm like completely sold on how great a fight it would be. You know, like all the particulars that have to be worked out, catch weights and all of that. Like it's just to me, it's a
Yeah,
lot in the way to happen. But
I think Canelo's just too big for it to be a really
yeah,
really competitive fight. But
yeah. Canelo's
it's
not going.
it's interesting.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
Canelo's not going. He's not going to go down too much in weight,
No,
if at
like
all. He might just say, "No, you just
he'll
have to
have to
come
come
up."
up to 168.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
Right. That's what I'm
that's
trying to
what it
say.
is.
Yeah. Mr. J, what's going on? Thanks for coming through. Mr. Galloway in the house. Salute to
Dre?
you. Says good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to you, Dre. Make sure y'all subscribe to Mr. Galloway. Dope music he's been putting out lately, man. Go subscribe. Check it out. MISTERR. Galloway is where you can find him. All right. Not Callaway. Galloway. Y'all know where that's from? Y'all remember that? Remember where that's from? Galloway. Callaway. CALLOW. From my cousin Vinny. Where the judge was trying to look at his background.
Gallo, not
Oh, Callow. Oh, that's right. Yeah. I don't think. Yeah, like I said, I don't think Canelo drops much weight if at all. You're talking about catch weight. He's like, yeah, you can catch me at my weight. That's what that's gonna be.
Yeah. Interesting. It's a lot in a way. I think they can, like I said, I think the Saudis might back it, but I think the money will be there. But it's to me, other than that, all the particulars, it's going to be a lot in the way to make that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like Jose said, Terrence doesn't seem particularly interested in making anything else happen, and Canelo, he doesn't want the obvious fight that's right in front of him either. So
yeah, and you kind of get that, like, and I get it. I mean, I don't think Canelo's afraid of anybody, but like, Benavidez is a big man. We seen him have issue with bigger. Well, the last time he fought a bigger guy, Bivol, he had issue there. And I'm with you. I don't think he's just like, yep, that's it. That's next. That's what I want next. I think there's gonna be some convincing. I think that's why he's talking about this money, if the money is right, because we're not gonna act like Canelo doesn't get paid very, very well, and whoever he's fighting, he can be fighting somebody off the streets, and he's going to get a nice check for that. So I think the money is he's gonna get a nice check regardless. I think that's why and to your point earlier, be that risk reward of fighting at Benavidez. I don't think he's rushing there. I think that might be, I don't know. Who knows how long Canelo's gonna fight, but I think that might be the can that he kicks down the road until he feels like he's ready to possibly hang it up, and that be one of his last big fights. But I don't think he's rushing to jump in there with him right now.
Yeah, and it does feel like he's kind of close to the end, and Crawford would be a legacy fight, whereas Benavidez doesn't do anything for your legacy at this point.
Mm-hmm.
That could change depending on what Benavidez does the rest of his career. But right now, you beat Benavidez, and it's whatever. So,
I mean, it's kind of that with Crawford too. Crawford, I mean, he's too small. Like, it's the same thing with Charlo. Like they're gonna,
but that kind of stuff doesn't come up down the line when you're talking about athlete's legacy. Him being too small isn't going to be like he's going to put on the weight and he's going to get in the ring. He's going to the same way we're not going to talk about Canelo being too small for Bivol, right? You went up and you just got beat. That's what it is.
I think people do say that though.
But I'm thinking in the long term, like that's not the thing that's gonna come up.
I don't know. I think it will for him. I mean, anytime that fight comes up, he dared to be great. He moved up, to a heavier weight class and came up short. I don't think people look at him like, yeah, he just got beat by people.
I think that people will. I'm talking about down the line after he's retired. It's going to be, man. For Bivol as well. You beat Canelo. You beat one of the man of that era, right? And for Canelo, it's going to be, hey, you lost to Bivol in embarrassing fashion.
Maybe, but I don't know because that was a majority decision. I think they'll look at him like, he lost a close one.
One round away from a draw, in fact. That's amazing that you could lose 12 rounds and be 1 round away from a draw.
What kind of gifts do you have to give referees to get, or the judges? What kind of gifts do you have to give judges to get these calls? This has been Canelo's whole career, by the way.
Well, no, you know what's really funny is it wasn't last night because those cards were way closer than they should have been.
Really? What was the score? I didn't hear.
115, 112 was one of them. I forget the other ones. Like, it wasn't that close, you know?
No,
Yeah.
it wasn't.
Yeah, that one was scored a little close. Well, you know, he wasn't the guy there, right? You know, this was an Oscar. You know, Oscar had heavy influence on what's going on.
That's what it's not been Canelo, it's been Oscar. Oscar always has at least one judge in his pocket.
Yeah. And that 112, 115, that obviously was Oscar's homeboy, somebody that he knew.
So if he didn't score that knockdown, there'd have been some trouble there.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, you know, like I said, man, I think Canelo, that's the best he's looked in a while to me. I mean, you know, the Charlo thing, that was just whatever. Well, I don't know what that was, but I think he put on a masterclass. You know, it was a little different form than what Floyd did to him. He couldn't hit Floyd, right? Yeah. He sat there. I think he did more. He took on a few shots last night, but I think he did more baiting. You know, to draw the young guy in and teach him a lesson that way. But it felt very similar in to how he started to pick him apart and you know, knew what was coming. He said it at the end, you know, a little slow. I could see what was coming. But it was just one of those things, man. You seen one of the all-time greats versus young and up and coming guy, and he just taught him a lesson. He beat him up and taught him a lesson. Like, look, man, but like we said before, man, hopefully Munguia learns from this and can move forward, because you know he was in a bit of a bubble wrap before, you know, recent. So hopefully this is the freeing moment that, you know, hopefully Oscar doesn't put him back in that bubble and let this kid, you know, spread his wings and make a name for himself, because you know his last couple of fights, man, he's looked a lot better than I expected him to. You know, against John Ryder, you know, he put more of a beating on John Ryder than Canelo did.
He did, yeah.
So, you know, it's hopefully Oscar let this kid do his thing, man, and you know, become more of a household name.
All right, we got like 7 people in here. My salute to y'all, man. I know we haven't been streaming as much as you guys have wanted to, but salute to y'all for sticking around. We are close to 500 subscribers. We need y'all to help us get over that finish line. All right. So if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. All right. If you listen to the audio podcast, there's still people that do. Salute to y'all. Share this out. All right. We're putting out more content again. We're going to be more active over here. So, you know, give us a 5-star review, share it with your friends and loved ones. It'd be greatly appreciated. Clot says, what if Crawford beat Canelo? Who would have the biggest legacy? Obviously, if he beat Canelo, that would be huge for Crawford. When you say biggest legacy, you mean like who would be like who would have like the better legacy?
Yeah, that's a tough question, because a big part of legacy is, you know,
the mythology around you.
Yeah, and not what happens in the ring. And Crawford just doesn't have many fights that are you know, in the public mind. You know, like you got the Errol Spence performance, which was one of the greatest performances ever, right? And if he beat Canelo, obviously that's another huge thing. But then outside of that, you know, he's kind of anonymous. Whereas Canelo is right there in the public eye. He's the face of boxing, and he's got all these huge wins that everybody saw. I think it would depend a little bit on how he beat him. But I mean, I would like to think that people would go back and check out the rest of Crawford's career, and it would be Crawford if he in fact beat him. But I think that it would still be Canelo, honestly.
Well, you know, who has the bigger legacy? Tyson, Holyfield, or Lance Lewis? Right, Lance Lewis beat both of them.
Yeah, and he's third in that.
Right. You know, I know he beat Tyson a little bit older.
Yeah. He beat everybody pretty much.
He beat everybody. Big Bo didn't even want to fight him. He dropped his belt, so he didn't have to fight him. I think they had fought in the amateurs, and he's like, I don't want that smoke again. But Lennox Lewis beat everybody. But yes, Tyson has more of a legacy, right? I mean, he was a megastar.
Mm-hmm.
Holyfield was too, not to the level of Tyson, but he was up there. Lennox was, like you said, he was third on that list. So yeah, the narrative does factor into it big time.
Yeah, big time. I mean, and like you said, Canelo is a megastar, right? To the point we just said he could fight somebody, he could fight one of us, and it's gonna sell. He's gonna sell out T-Mobile Arena, and it could be one of us.
We've got quite a following on YouTube. I don't know.
Right.
Good point. Good point. Good point. So I just think overall, Canelo. I mean, Canelo has been the face of boxing for how long? Floyd been out?
Oh,
Yeah, it's been a while.
Over a decade.
Yeah.
So like, he all of that, comes into play. As much respect as we have for Bud, it's just not there. It's the same thing that we speak on with Devin Haney. Great fighters, like supremely talented guys. They just aren't aren't big draws, and that's going to play a big part. But it'll be a huge win. It'll be a huge win if he pulls it off, and it would only cement his legacy. But I think Canelo will go down as having the bigger legacy.
Yeah,
but similar. I mean, they would be both of them multi-weight division champions. Their resumes they both will be tight for sure, Hall of Fame careers. But I just think Canelo. And then look, man, one of the main arguments for people is let's dispel this now before they do it, right? Let's just say they wait a while for this fight to happen and he beats Canelo and they say, oh, he beat an old Canelo. Actually, Crawford is older than Canelo, so we won't be able to say that one. So it'll just be interesting on how it pulls out. I think Bud is 36.
Yeah, he's up there.
somewhere around there.
And
But listen,
Canelo's 33.
people will still say that. They said that with Floyd and Pacquiao, even though they were right around the same age and both well past their prime. But yeah, no, it is the story, right? That's what is going to kind of determine that. And Bud Crawford just doesn't have the story. Like, this is something that Jose and I have talked about quite a bit. Oscar De La Hoya has an incredible legacy. Oscar De La Hoya didn't beat anybody.
Right.
I mean, he beat up an old Julio Cesar Chavez. All the big fights that he took on, and credit to him for taking them on, but he lost all of them. Right. Whereas a guy like Pernell Whitaker, right? He won a lot of big fights, and the legacy just isn't really there necessarily. Not in terms of the mainstream. It's a lot about your PR team.
Yeah, no, it is. Like he was a golden boy. Like his popularity, like, and that's one of those things that you don't think about until later on when it's all said and done. You're like, yeah, he fought a lot of people, but who did he beat? Like, what was Oscar's signature win? Right, it was Julio Cesar Chavez when he was like 55.
He wasn't that old.
He wasn't that old, but he was well past his prime. But that's what put him on the map, because they wanted the next great Mexican fighter. Boxing always wants a great Mexican fighter in the sport.
They tried to sell that last night too. Oh, I think a lot of people are going to be pulling for Munguia to have that De La Hoya moment. No, they're not, man.
Well, they wanted something to where if Canelo is getting old and he's going to lose, let it be the next.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But he's not, and it didn't happen.
Right. So I mean, yeah. So I mean, all right. So what's next up? All right, we say Canelo's probably going to take out our boy Berlanga. I don't want to see that, but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What's the next fight coming up? We got Inoue tomorrow. We got
Yeah, and then
Cambosos.
Kambosos and Lomachenko, and then Usyk and Fury.
Okay, so wait, this is the postponed Usyk and Fury. Like it's been postponed already, right? Like they're both
They're fighting in a couple weeks.
okay. So, all right, we got lots to discuss here. Coming up, you'll hear and see from you'll see more of us, I should say. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe this is a maybe. This is a maybe. Okay, maybe tomorrow if I catch the Inoue fight, and it's
You
it's
ain't
not
streaming
like
tomorrow.
if it's not like 8 or 9 o'clock, I might stream tomorrow. Clock said my boy fight tomorrow. Yeah, that's everybody's boy. All right.
Yeah. And anyway, fans, man, they kind of jump on us, but I think they owe us an apology because I know last fight I took off of work to watch the man. So and then we caught all this hate. I don't know why.
I don't either. I don't know. I don't know what we said. I mean, yes,
Insufficient deference. No, I know what it was. People were offended that we said he should come and fight in the U.S. to be a megastar.
Yeah, and he should.
And he should. He still should.
Listen, should or shouldn't. Like if he's happy, with what he's making there and all that, that's fine. Lord knows if I were the king of those divisions and I could make somebody fly 14 hours to come and try and take my belt, I would do it.
Yeah. I mean, it's not about. All we're saying is to make him more of a household name, right? Yes, his core fan base, obviously they know who he is. The boxing purists like us, we know who he is. We're just talking about from the casual fan to make him more of a big name, household name. If he fights more often here, that's what would happen for him. That's all we were saying. It's no this, it's no not. We're not saying that nobody knows who he is, but when you're talking about names, I mean, it's very easy. It's very easy to solve this. Go ask somebody who watches boxing just as a social event who Inoue is. We'll see. We'll see if what they say.
Claude, the card tomorrow starts at 4 a.m.
Yeah, 4 a.m. not p.m. a.m.
Yeah,
Eastern time.
Yeah.
They didn't like us talking about that part of it either. But I mean,
well, yes, like you said, Mikey. If he's cool with the audience that he has now, he probably is. He probably is. He's making money. He's a star, in Japan. He's a champion. He has a great legacy, and we talk about him over here, but he will never be on Tank's level, right? That's all we're saying. He won't be on that level in terms of popularity, right? He won't be Canelo Alvarez in terms of popularity, or Fury, or Wilder. Like he won't reach that level of popularity. Is all we're saying. If he continues to do business the way he does it, he has to have more fights over here. And yes, he's fought in Vegas before. You gotta fight more than the Maloney brothers, right?
Right. And wasn't they doing COVID when there was nobody in the arena?
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
You gotta do better than that. Have a big fight over here, and that'll really put you on the map. But you don't have to do it.
Speaking of the Maloneys, those brothers, both of them have title fights coming up in the next couple of weeks. I don't know.
Because champions look at them as food. Like, I'm trying to keep these belts, but I ain't trying to stress myself. Let's call
them brothers stay in work, man. They
stay gainfully employed, Joe. Yeah. They are gainfully employed. Every week they fighting, man. they get the coldest knockouts though, man. Sheesh. I mean coldest. I mean they get knocked out cold. Good Lord, it gets worse and worse every time I see them.
He's Maloney on that card. Yeah, he's on there. I'm just looking at the card too. Yeah, so they got 4 fights on that card tomorrow. With Jason Maloney fighting for the bantamweight, the WBO bantamweight title.
Who's he fighting?
Yoshiki Takei.
All right.
Inowa's brother is fighting as well, Takuma.
I saw one of his fights. He was pretty good.
Yeah, he's got the WBA bantamweight title.
I won't call them trash. They are journeyman fighters. Okay, you need those levels in boxing.
Hey, he's a champion.
Yeah. Wait, he's not the current champion, is he?
Yeah, he's got the WBO bantamweight title. Jason.
Well, I stand corrected. Clyde, he is a champion. He's not trash. He's not great, but he's not trash. He's a boxer.
He's a guy.
He's a guy. Yeah. Look, once you reach to that level of professional boxing, you're not trash, right? I mean, compared to your counterparts, compared to your peers, even compared to his peers, he's not trash. Like, yes, he's fought great fighters, and he's not on that level, but just your average fighter, yeah, man, he's solid. And you can't stay in the game that long and be complete garbage. So he's a solid fighter. His brother's a solid fighter. They have peaked at their level.
There's a very clear divide between them and the top fighters in the world.
Yeah. All right, I think that's it. We're gonna get out of here, man. Thanks for y'all for watching. Thanks to everybody that's going to listen to this. Like we said before, we're close to 500 subscribers. That's all we need to get monetized over here. Yeah. And if you want to help out the show, of course, all donations that come to the show will help. We put right back into the show. Click on that pin link that you see in the chat box. I'll take you to our Streamlabs page. Also, you can hit up our Patreon, patreon.com/LBHTShow. What is LBHT? That is Lunch Break Hot Take. That is our main sports channel that we do. We do a show every Wednesday night, 7:15 p.m. Eastern time. All right. We talk a little boxing, combat sports on there from time to time, but it's mainly a football channel. Okay. Mainly Ravens and Panthers talk, but we talk a lot of other sports too, especially in the off season. So go ahead and support. Also, our brother OTR Mike has a podcast. What is your podcast, OTR Mike?
Open Mic with OTR Mike. Go over there, subscribe. I'm close to 500 myself. So if you aren't subscribed already, go ahead over there and do that. Listen, I got some videos up. Go and watch those. The new ones will be coming soon.
Soon. Yes, soon. We got a lot of content coming out all around. So subscribe, follow, share with your friends, all that good stuff. We'll be back soon. Could be sooner than you think. All right. But we'll be back soon.
Could be tomorrow sometime, right?
Could be tomorrow. It could be next week. Okay. Or it could be next month. You never know. That's the good thing about this show, right? We keep you on your toes. All right. But B, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah. Hannah's like, tomorrow? Maybe tomorrow. Maybe. That's a big maybe.
Hey, Hannah, are you planning on streaming tonight? Go ahead and put that in the chat.
And make sure you subscribe to our guy, the Rogue Pod, as well. All right. He's part of our crew as well. We have a tight-knit community over here, and Hendo from the Rogue Pod is a part of it. We're working on a project with him as well. So you just need to be subscribed to all of us. All right. You don't need to go anywhere else. Hendo said, yes, we are.
About what, bro? There's nothing.
All right, B's ready to get out of here. He needs his rest before his live stream tonight.
I gotta eat.
Yeah, all right, you gotta eat. You gotta eat before your live stream.
Doing the fasting thing, and I start eating at 3.
Are you fasted too, B?
Wait,
bro.
You're fasting now?
Fasted too, B?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eating from 3 to 11 because my schedule when we do the shows and everything, right? So I was supposed to start eating 12 minutes ago, bro. We gotta get up out of here.
Go.
He's got a small window. All right, we're gonna get out of here. Right. We gotta talk more about that next time. But everybody, thank you very much. All right, have a great night. Enjoy your week coming up, and we will see you next time. Peace.